All right, hello guys, it's Robbie here, and here I am with a recap about the trade that I took yesterday on EU, which turned out as a break-even. However, it was a really promising and really valid entry opportunity. So let's start everything on the 4-hour time frame. The last candle right here on the 4-hour time frame hasn't been printed uh, before session open, so we were somewhere around here before London open. What happened at this region? Well, there was a flip of this 4-hour supply area right here. As you can see, here was a 4-hour supply area, but sorry, let me right, that was a 4-hour supply area, sorry. This 4-hour supply has been flipped by this 4-hour demand area. However, I was waiting for a mitigation on the real origin of the inefficient movement to the upside. However, if you take a look on this 4-hour demand, this demand has caused the bigger volume, the real volume right here. So there was this inefficiency right here, which has been made by this 4-hour demand, this huge zone. But also there was some inefficiency which has been created by this movement, but also the flip of this supply has happened from this zone. So price has just reacted at the 50% of this zone. As you can see, this was a literally perfect 50% mitigation, the V-shaped recovery to the upside. And it wouldn't be necessary for the price to mitigate this 4-hour demand. And after the 15-minute change of character, I changed my bias totally, so I wasn't really expecting a mitigation on this zone, and I was expecting long continuations to the upside, expecting a breakout structure here on this high point, because more likely this high is weak. And even though price broke below the last recent 4-hour demand that has caused the breakout structure here, and even though price was coming from supply area, the only purpose of this 4-hour demand break right here with this huge movement to the downside was to sweep this liquidity into this demand area, and more likely this 4-hour supply right here that has caused the break of this supply demand 2 will be broken. And as you can see, it has happened during New York session yesterday. So technically that's all on the 4-hour time frame. I was expecting long continuations to the upside, and let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame. On the 15-minute time frame, you can see that here was the 50% mitigation and the perfect reaction to the upside, which has happened with the V-shaped recovery, and the 15-minute has changed character here. However, on the 15-minute time frame, it wasn't a really strong movement to the upside, but the price action and actually the market has followed a really nice bullish structure. So after the 15 minutes change of character here, price has started to break structure over and over again. As you can see, there was the last recent breakout structure before London Open, and this structure breaking movement actually reacted on this 15-minute supply area that has caused the break of this 4-hour demand and has caused really nice inefficiency. This zone has been made by news, so it had a bit higher chance to be broken. And as you can see, after this really nice reaction right here, price has broken above with several candles, so we could call it as a break on this supply area. And technically the break happened, and technically the origin of the break was this 15-minute demand area, which has caused really nice inefficiency. And I counted these double bottoms right here as liquidity. So price was somewhere around here. This is the last candle before session open yesterday, and I was expecting a mitigation on this demand, confirmation entry to the upside because there was liquidity, and I was expecting the breakout structure here. I was expecting the mitigation of this 4-hour supply area. So even though it wasn't a really valuable 4-hour supply, it was still a 4-hour supply, and I was really expecting a mitigation on this zone. So it would be my final TP in this case. Or if this demand wouldn't be able to hold the price, then I would wait for a confirmation entry on the lower one, which had really nice amount of liquidity above it. There was a 1% mitigation on it. Price has just built up liquidity for the deeper mitigation, and after the deeper mitigation, I would definitely look for longs up to this 4-hour supply area. If price reversed from this point down to this demand, then this would be my plan in this case. However, if a flip happened on this zone, then I would look for shorts down to some valuable demand area, for example this one right here, which was the extreme of this overall bullish movement to the upside after the forward demand mitigation. So yeah, and also there was another possible scenario in my mind, which was the potential breakout structure at this high point, mark out the newly formed demand area, and on the newly formed demand area we could wait for longs up to this forward supply area. So technically we had really easy plans to follow, and on the 5-minute time frame, as you can see during the session, after session open, because this was the first candle in the session, price has made a breakout structure to the upside, left behind a newly formed 5-minute demand which was perfectly lined up with the 15-minute zone. So there was a 15-minute area that has caused the breakout structure, and this 5-minute zone was the 5-minute refinement inside of that 15-minute area. After that, after the break, I mark this zone out and price reacted on it, and let's take a look on the 1-minute time frame. As you can see, here is the price action that has happened during session. So session started with this candle, closed with this candle right here, and everything that happened between these two lines is what happened during London session. But technically my last plan has played out perfectly. So there was a breakout structure. I marked the last recent demand out that has caused the breakout structure on the last recent high point. There was some liquidity creation for the higher time frame zone. It wasn't that much. However, if we take a look here, price has made the first low. After that, price returned back, almost made double bottoms, reacted on it, so put more money on the table at this low point, almost created the perfect double bottoms, and this liquidity has been swept into this 5-minute demand area. However, the 50% mitigation was missing. So price couldn't manage to mitigate the 50% of the 5-minute zone, but the change of character happened with really nice movement with actually a V-shaped recovery. On the 5-minute time frame, it's even better. Also, 5-minute breakout structure happened after this 5-minute demand mitigation. And yeah, this was a literally perfect V-shaped recovery. And after that, even though we did not have 50% mitigation right here, I send an update. If a change of character happens here and price creates liquidity for this entry POI right here, it has a really great chance to hold the price, even though the 50% mitigation is not happened. And this liquidity creation right here above the entry POI was crucial, because if there is liquidity creation above or below an entry POI, after a change of character which couldn't really manage, and price couldn't really manage the 50% mitigation on the higher time frame zone, then the liquidity creation for the entry POI is significantly increases the chances for the entry POI to hold the price, and it wouldn't be necessary for the price to mitigate the 50% of the higher time frame zone. And actually it happened as I was waiting for it. So this was my first plan. The second plan one was, if price couldn't really manage to create liquidity for the entry POI, then I would expect a deeper mitigation, and after deeper mitigation I would look for longs up to this forward supply area. But liquidity creation happened, as you can see perfectly. Price has tagged me in exactly at the top of this zone. 2.5 pips stop loss safely covered the whole zone, and I was targeting the lowest point of this forward supply area for 7.2 risk reward ratio. Let's count the criteria first, then let me talk about the break-even point, because I put my stop loss into break-even right here, even though there was the original break-even line. So let's count the criteria. The first one was the higher time frame zone mitigation. There was a 5-minute demand mitigation, also a 15-minute demand mitigation. Perfect. There was some liquidity to take for the higher time frame zone, almost perfect double bottoms. This liquidity has been swept into the higher time frame zone. There was inefficiency for the entry POI, really nice inefficient volume candles has been formed after this candle. So there was inefficiency, perfect, and we are in a pro trend. There is no doubt about it. Higher time frame, the 4-hour time frame is still bullish. The 15-minute time frame has just made a new breakout structure to the upside, and price has just literally confirmed the last recent valuable demand area. So pro trend, perfect. We have all the 4 base criteria that we need. So I could count and we could count the variable criteria in this case. The first one was the change of character. It happened perfectly, as you can see, with perfect V-shaped recovery on the 5-minute time frame. It's even prettier V-shaped recovery. So change of character, V-shaped recovery. However, 50% mitigation was missing, so we couldn't count it. And also there was really nice liquidity target on the upside. After the liquidity creation here, price technically swept the liquidity but created more before the tagging, as you can see. So technically there was liquidity, and also on the higher time frame, on the 4-hour time frame, there is liquidity on the upside. Technically the high point right here is just liquidity for the future longs. Perfect. So this was our 7th criteria. The 8th criteria was the not coming from an opposite sided zone. There wasn't any opposite sided zone at all. Price also made strong bullish movements and corrective bearish movements. If you take a look on the movements, you can see that how much stronger the bullish movements are and how weak the bearish movements are. So corrective pullbacks from pro movement, and in this case we had combined liquidation, which was really crucial because we did not have 50% mitigation. And yeah, it was a 10 criteria entry opportunity. Price has perfectly tagged me in at the top of the zone, as you can see, with 2.5 pip stop loss, and I was targeting this 4-hour supply area. However, after the reaction on this candle and after this weak movement right here, my emotions kicked in a bit once again. It happens, but I decided to put my stop loss into break even right here. But there was my original break even line. I wanted to see the fail of this zone, and yeah, actually the break did not happen here. The break of this high did not happen here. Price only wicked above, but yeah, I put my stop loss into break even a bit earlier, but in this case I got lucky, but because it swept me out in break even, which would have been a stop loss hit in this case. But yeah, actually that, so price had to mitigate the 50% on this 5-minute area. It came back to the 5-minute area, mitigated the 50%, and after that I was monitoring another possible entry opportunity right here on this area, because after the 50% mitigation, technically price has made the last recent breakout structure here to the downside, changed the character here from this candle, from this 1-minute area, also caused a strong change of character, which wasn't necessary in this case, and technically the exact same criteria were there for this zone, even though the combined liquidation was missing in this case, so there wasn't liquidity above the entry PY, but we had 50% mitigation because price had just mitigated the 50%. So yeah, I had 10 criteria for this entry PY, and I had a limit order on this zone with also a full zone entry opportunity with 2.5 pips stop loss, and I would target the 4-hour zone once again. But as you can see, I deleted my limit before after session close, sorry. And yeah, but technically price has provided 2 high criteria entry opportunity, in this case high probability entry opportunity. I took the first one, which turned out as a break even with 10 criterias, and there was another 10 criteria entry opportunity right here, which turned out as a no tag. And after session close, I deleted my limit order here. So yeah, that's all guys, and let me record another recap about the trade that I took today, which turned out as a break even once again. So see you in the next video.